All right, students, it is Mr. Torres again. Back to talk about sonnets. We are still working with the sonnet Who Solicits to Hunt by Sir Thomas Wyatt. Remember, this is going to be the sonnet that I am walking you through. This is kind of our group practice, whole class practice, and then you will come together as a class to kind of practice these sonnets together and then do one individually, okay? So what we're going to talk about here next with sonnets is rhyme. And before, we did talk about rhyme. We've identified the rhyme scheme for 2 of the sonnets already, okay? So we do have a rhyme scheme, and holding on to rhyme is going to give us a lot of information about meaning, okay? So first things first, we're going to read this section at the top, okay? And it says, what most readers first learn about poetry is the pleasure that comes from hearing rhymes. From our first Dr. Seuss experiences, would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Okay, so to most of the songs we listen to on the radio, we are programmed to appreciate the aesthetics of poetry. The different sonnets forms have prescribed rhyme schemes that can be quite complicated. Also worth noting, as it relates to sonnets, is this very important fact right here, that rhyming words at the end of lines often contain key elements that help the reader unlock meaning. And we'll talk about that later when we talk about diction, okay? To mark a rhyme scheme, the reader assigns a letter to each sound. The final syllable of the first line is given the letter A, and then the reader, we've already done this. I've already explained this. But let's go ahead and put that down on paper here, okay? So we have Who Solicits to Hunt. It's the same poem as before. We have A, B, B, A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C, E, E. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that rhyme scheme. B, A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C, E, and E, okay? So this is our rhyme scheme. Now, when we identify rhyme scheme, we do take time to look at the types of rhymes that we have in our poem, okay? And these are the types of rhymes that you may see in your poem, okay? We're going to get some quick definitions and examples of types of rhymes. Okay, so a masculine rhyme here is going to be a monosyllabic, mono meaning one, okay? Monosyllabic rhyme, okay? So this means it's either one syllable, whoa, can't even spell today. One syllable words that rhyme, okay? So for instance, we have the words minds and finds. Minds, when you put your hand under your chin and you say it out loud, you'll notice your chin touches your hand once, so that is a one syllable word, as is finds, okay? A monosyllabic, one syllable words that rhyme. Okay, and so we see mind here, we see hind here, so we actually see these in, let me number my sonnet. We actually see these in lines 1 and 5. 1 and 5, okay? A feminine rhyme is going to be a multi-syllabic rhyme where both syllables in words rhyme together. Think of the word motion and ocean. Okay, we have mo and o that rhyme with each other, shun and shun that rhyme with each other. Okay, so that is a feminine rhyme. Then we have slant rhymes. Slant rhymes are words that kind of rhyme with each other. Okay, so for instance, we have the words behind and sorry, not behind. Excuse me. Such as the words am and tame. Okay, these are words that kind of rhyme with each other. They're not full rhymes, but they sort of have the same sound. Okay, sometimes it is the final syllable in the word, not final syllable, the final sound in a word that is the same. Okay, so for instance, am and tame, the final sound is the M sound. That is a slant rhyme. An I rhyme is going to be words that look like they should rhyme. For instance, we have wind and mind. When you pronounce these words, they don't actually rhyme, but they look like they should rhyme because of the final three letters in those words. Okay, so wind and mind. And we see those on lines 5 and 8. And then an internal rhyme is when words on the same line rhyme with each other. Okay, for instance, the cat in the hat walked by. Cat and hat rhyme with each other. They're on the same line, so that is an internal rhyme. So identifying the types of rhymes is important because when we have rhyming words at the end of lines, they often reveal key concepts. And again, we'll talk about this when we talk about diction, okay? And after we understand a poem a little bit deeper, you can see, once we make meaning out of the words, after we do another step called paraphrasing, after we make meaning out of these words, we can see, based on what the author is writing about, why maybe they have chosen to use a masculine rhyme, a feminine rhyme, a slant rhyme, an I rhyme, or an internal rhyme. And that just adds another layer of meaning, okay? So in class, we would have you look at Sonnet 116 and identify the types of rhymes together with your table groups. And then individually, we'll have you do the same thing with One Day I Wrote Her Name Upon the Strand. All right, see you guys later.